time on holidays.
Oh, somebody's coming,
Yeah, she's taking a nice sun and a nice tan and having a good time on the beach.
Sounds like a good plan. Although it seems to be getting warmer out, so I think,
Yeah, finally.
we're finally getting rid of the ice age.
Yeah, finally we're gonna be able to see the sun and flowers, hopefully. I have something I would like to share. Is about what's happening in Peterborough. Oh, the Peterborough Fashion Week. Did you hear about?
Yes, I've heard about Fashion Week, and it's a pretty exciting thing coming up right here in September.
Yes, exactly. This is all in benefit of 5 counties. 5 counties is, they need the fundings for help older kids at their own. It's a big waiting list.
Yes.
So they're in really need of, getting more funding so that more kids they can have, more therapy, speech therapy.
Just getting the help there.
Exactly. The Miryam lunch is happening this Tuesday, April 15, here in Peterborough at 1 o'clock, and it's on the club area, 331 George Street North. And it's just pretty much celebrating what's Peterborough fashion scene and the talent and, all the downtown fashion and
Showcasing some of the stores, or are they using strip modeling agency then?
Yeah, the Strut, yeah, we just have a promotional photo shoot and that was fun, yeah.
I want to see the pictures.
Yeah, I can wait to see them too. And also, it's gonna be the mayor and they're gonna be live refreshments. So we're gonna get clothes and stuff, so it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be fun.
Okay. That's at Area Nightclub?
Yeah, that's at 1 o'clock on April 15.
Very good.
And I make sure I put all the information to share it, and then I might share afterwards what's happening and a few pictures and maybe some video or something.
So when is actually Fashion Week happening?
That's on the week of September. From September 21st to September 27, and it's a few different stuff happening, like photo contest, and there's gonna be Strut for kids and Never Too Old for Strut, and yeah, it's gonna yeah.
Never Too Old.
No, I can go to Strut for kids.
And our flat shoes, spandex.
That's gonna be fun.
The seniors.
Yeah, so that's going to become an opportunity for everybody just to join and stuff. It's gonna be fun. Well, that's just like for a little bit of a news that something is happening this week. And I would like to know what you have today for us.
Well, it's spring, and I've noticed a little bit of change in my health. So with the heave and ho temperatures and things like that, a lot of spring allergies can come out. So I've been getting some more people coming around with spring allergies, as well as I've been working with some sport teams lately to help them understand their nutrition better. And I've been working with some of Peterborough's best soccer players and some baseball players to help them make better nutritional choices, certainly for peak performance. And one of the things that I was emphasizing with them is to try and understand what is food intolerance or food sensitivity. So a lot of the kids, these are kids ranging anywhere from ages 9 up to about 18. A lot of the kids were able to identify what allergy is, or they had allergy, so they understand it's an immediate reaction to something. But what I was also talking to them about is intolerance. And intolerance is more of a delayed response. Something that you may have eaten on or ingested on Sunday could still be hanging around your system 3 days later, but you don't know how that can be bringing you down or affecting you. So certainly with the kids, we were talking about peak performance. The body has to repair. So the repair is actually slower, because of the fact that, if you're feeding body junk, it's basically garbage in, garbage out. So we emphasize the need for protein, understanding proper carbohydrates, proper hydration, and also to understand that there is such a thing as good fats. because when I mentioned fat, every kid seemed to think that fat was bad. Of course,
Yeah.
because we're all told fat's so bad. It's like sugar, all sugar is bad.
No, but your body still needs,
Your body
balance, it's
still
all
needs a
balance, of
balance,
course.
and we tried to emphasize that to them as well. So it was very good educational experience with them. But I was mentioning about food intolerance is how it can affect you on a recurring or chronic basis. So one of the things that I do in my clinic is test for the food sensitivities and intolerances, because they can be the things that make you never really feel totally good. So you have kind of like a chronic headache, or you have a chronic digestive problem, or elimination problem, or you have an ongoing skin condition, or you have a chronic headache.
But what is the difference with when you go to the doctor and they test you for allergies, and they say, well, you don't have any allergies, and then when you eat the food, and you're like, well, but I don't feel right. Like, if I'm not allergic, why am I still feeling this way?
Allergy is an immediate response, usually an immediate response. So say for instance you eat peanut butter, or you eat shellfish, or you get stung by a bee or something like that, you have that immediate response, even an anaphylactic response. So
Yeah, like the severe allergies.
yeah, severe allergy, which is one type of antibody. There's other types of antibodies that are kind of like really slow to react. So they don't react right away, but they can take several days to react to the system, and these are proteins that the body's still not recognizing. So there's still what we call a histamine release. It may not be in the form of full-blown itch or something like that, but it also can contribute to chronic inflammation, chronic mucus, or leading to acidosis, which is an acidic state of the body. So I tell people that an acid body is a sick body.
Yeah, it needs the alkaline.
It needs to be more alkaline. And certainly when there's sensitivities and intolerances, the body is leaning more towards a state of acidosis. When you go to the doctor, they usually have scratch tests. Some do blood tests, which I say everything in the blood can be accurate, but it's also important to realize that it's what's in the blood at that time as well. If you haven't ingested something for a very long time, then it may not show. So if you are using those types of tests, people often come to me and say, my blood test shows I'm allergic to everything. Well, no, you're not. What's wrong is your digestion is impaired, because basically 75% of your immune system is processing this, and that histamine reaction will be in
And then you just have
the digestive system first and then go through the body. So sensitivity and tolerance, the way we do it, control what can just be sort of aggravating, not a full-blown reaction right away, what can be aggravating the system on an ongoing basis. And we like to use it with by using biofeedback, which is the body's way of responding to something. So you may not be, say, full-blown allergic to wheat. On the other hand, you can be sensitive or intolerant to wheat, such that you continuously have aches and pains, you don't repair or recover very well, you have chronic things, chronic skin conditions, or you're always stuffed up, so chronic sinus problem, chronic
and with kids, the behavior, right?
With kids, definitely behaviors. And we were discussing it on the weekend, how mood and behavior and attention can greatly be reconfigured with the wrong.
I completely understand.
With the wrong ingredients. So we were hitting on. I wasn't popular when I mentioned how I didn't like sports drinks, because it's all the rage out on the field or on the ice or whatever. But I think afterwards, when the kids understood, and parents and coaches as well, that sports drinks aren't really a good way to rehydrate, because a lot of the times the kids, almost every child I ever test is sensitive to food dye.
That's what I want to say. Like, it's it's loaded with food coloring.
Food coloring and a lot of sodium, and there may be some electrolytes in there, but honestly, there really wouldn't be too many athletes putting out that kind of sweat. Even if your child does get sweaty, pure water will hydrate them. Coconut water has the good electrolytes in it that will replenish that, without something like a sports drink that has artificial food coloring, has loaded with high fructose corn syrup, which is actually very sensitive in a lot of children, is a main trigger for behavioral issues. as well as
The preservatives and stuff.
preservatives. It can skyrocket.
Additives too, the additives, yeah.
It can skyrocket.
And that's what happened when I bring Alexander with you, because I remember took him got tested for dairy, because I see, every time he was kind of glass of milk, he was going crazy. I'm like, oh, this is just weird. He must be allergic or something. And then they do the blood test and it shows like, no, he's not allergic at all. I'm like, okay, I know there's something going on there. Then I didn't want him to have all these needles, right?
Yeah, the scratch test can sometimes bother children.
I know, he was tough, he complained, but he had all these tests and no, he's fine. And then it comes to see you and then show up all these things, right? And that's when I noticed too, like, it's funny because for example, he doesn't like too much bread, pasta, he don't like the, processed cheese, we know he has for coloring, so it's almost like his body knows that.
His body does know, and that's what I like to say when we do the testing. We use the actual substances, basically the frequency, we like to call it, or the energetic property, the value of the food or the substance does transmit right through the bottle, because it picks up the cellular response from your body as well. So unlike a scratch test that will show a reaction right away, you also have to remember that we're scratching your skin. So your skin could be reacting, but does your actual overall body react? And that's why I like to use the muscle testing, because of the fact that it will show us better what the body is sort of reacting to, or can potentially react to on a sort of a subclinical level. So we won't be able to diagnose it and say, okay, you have an absolute allergy to milk, or to wheat, or to carrots, or whatever it might be. On the other hand, if you're ingesting these substances on a regular basis and you're having chronic problems, whether they be cognitive problems, attentive problems, hyperactivity, things like that, or actual pain. A lot of children can experience pain, gastrointestinal pain or joint pain, delayed growth, delayed maturation, which can lead to hormonal imbalance. These are kids in the stages of adolescence, which is what I was addressing with the sports club. That can lead to a lot of mood swings, the inability to perform at their best.
Sleep disturbance.
Sleep disturbances, lethargy, inattentiveness during studies or in class. I will kind of give a general demonstration, but basically the person does hold up the substance up to their arm, and with children we have them often hold it up to their throat area or something like that. And we use muscle testing, so I would use her hand. Actually, the hand is actually a lot stronger. And if Miryam was to hold her hand up, so that's her
like this
hand together, and I would test her muscular strength. So if she was holding a substance and she was quite weak and could not hold it, believe me, she would not be able to hold it.
Let's see how.
We'll see how Miryam responds to this substance.
So I just hold it.
Yes, but I don't recommend trying this at home, because you want to be with somebody
that is an expert
that can pick up the muscular response better. If you just start running around playing with things,
just gonna make your body all confused.
Yeah, you're just gonna confuse your whole body. So you just hold it up to your arm. You can hold it up to your arm, or with a child, we hold it right up to
So
the
or
throat.
my leg cross my leg?
No, legs are nice and straight. So you can hold it right up to your arm if you want to, or you can hold it up to your arm. And then I'll test Miryam's strength on this. So she's actually pretty strong on this. And even I'm not just pulling her fingers apart, it's even the way we hold the hand. And I can tell if there's a sensitivity or intolerance there or not. We can use it on the arm, or sometimes if people can't use their hands, there are other ways that we can test for the
So I'm okay with gluten?
muscular response. She's okay with gluten.
Oh, I can have a cookie.
She can have a gluten-free cookie, because everybody knows wheat is not a good best friend. No, if you were really sensitive to gluten, and say, for instance, you were telling me that,
dairy is dairy.
Aching, or even with dairy, we tend to think that's the only way we can get our calcium, and it's actually not the best way to get our calcium at all. If you can tolerate some dairy is okay, and especially with kids.
Well, I completely, with the dairy, it took me a while to quit dairy.
Yes, I know, it's hard.
That was a big one. That was like my milk. It was just like every day I had to drink milk, but I did it because I mean I don't have gallbladder. Since I don't have gallbladder, I noticed that if I might drink a glass of milk, I'm just getting so bloated. I'm just feeling unwell, and I'm like, well, what's the point? You know, you enjoy the milk, and then after you have to suffer for 3 hours.
Yeah, and it's not worth it
No.
when food becomes the enemy. If food becomes the enemy, then you're not enjoying any of it. And ironically, we actually will crave the things that our body is intolerant to. So this is when people will come saying, I crave sugar. Well, actually, that's because you're actually quite intolerant, sensitive, or even full-blown allergic to sugar. I have tested.
And that's why you crave it?
That's why you crave it.
Oh, wow.
The body kind of works against itself sometimes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and it's more of a psychological craving, really, in a way, or an emotional connection to that. But
Yeah, that's my daughter. She's just, wow,
we're not just what we eat and assimilate in terms of actual food substance. We have associations with food. Milk being a comfort, it's creamy, it tastes good, or whatever. But if you start to feel awful because of the result of eating it, then there's no point, because why feel awful?
Yeah, but you're gonna suffer, yeah. And I like cheese. I can eat cheese and all that stuff, and I'm fine. The problem is a glass of milk.
There's a difference, I
That's
think.
just like.
I mean,
can't.
cheese is often fermented, right? So it's actually processed in a different way. And it also has some of the preservation of the natural bacterial enzyme in it to help you digest it. Whereas milk today is just treated badly.
Yeah, I know.
The cow is not,
I know,
not
it's
a
not the
happy
same.
cow.
Yeah.
But I only drink, I love milk. I'm not sensitive to milk, but I drink organic milk. And I did an experiment on myself with milk, just to see what would happen. And even with the organic milk, I still had
A little bit of
the hormonal change, actually, is what I could tell, is how it was actually raising estrogen, even with the organic milk. And I thought,
and tell
I
me
think
something
it
is
is.
so then that will be able to even affect your cycle and stuff.
well, this is where I was able to notice is that it had a definite effect, both not only on cycle, but also on symptoms leading up to cycle. So it had a
PMS and
profound
stuff.
effect. Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm drinking the organic milk, from the grass-fed cow, who's all really,
Really
organic, really good cow.
Free and jumping.
$9
Running.
bottle of
Yeah.
milk, right?
Big difference.
So, from a very happy cow. So I could tell, I could feel his happiness that he wasn't confined in a little, milk machine and being pumped with antibiotics on a fake machine. Yet I could definitely see within a month period the changes in hormonal response.
Wow.
So not only did it change cyclical things, but it also changed the symptoms before and during, after sort of thing. And so I stopped the milk, everything went back to normal, and then I thought, I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah. Well, we're stubborn by nature, right? Yeah.
Well, I'm a
I can try
scientist, so
again.
I always gotta know why. So I did it again to myself, and one of the most interesting things that I saw is not only did symptoms get worse, but also everything started to grow bigger.
Oh boy.
Very interesting. I thought, how is this possible?
And I think it affects you more when you go through a detox, right? And then your body's so clean, and suddenly you just give a little something, then it reacts worse.
Well, as a rule, I didn't really drink a lot of milk. I get most of my calcium from like nuts and seeds, or from dark leafy greens or something, which is easily digested that way. But when I did the milk thing again, the second time the experiment, I noticed that I started to look more like the cow. So everything got a lot rounder, let's just say. I wasn't really growing, it just everything started to get a lot fuller and a lot more round. So I think I'm onto something.
Oh, that's just.
I noticed it with milk the most, and so I
That's really
went
common.
back to not having The most significant thing I see when I put a lot of wheat in there is I ache. Oh, I ache. And then the bloating, of course. So
You know what I noticed? Like, I know I don't react too much with gluten, but at some point, I get a little bit more tired. Like it can hit me, you know, like when you eat turkey.
yeah.
It's just like, you're
Oh,
like, I
turkey,
can
yeah.
take it now. Yeah, you feel a little bit more like tired.
It's not really the turkey.
Yeah,
It's the turkey, yeah. But then it's the potato gravy mountain you make on the side, right? It's on the
So they have a
side.
substance, right? Like,
Yeah, it's tryptophan.
Yeah,
And
it
the
makes you
turkey.
sleepy.
It does make you sleepy, which is probably good at the time we eat turkey, but
So we'll share your link, your website, and then they can go and check it out. You have information there. So,
Yeah. at bioshelf.ca.
and do you have a Twitter account or stuff so they can?
On
follow you?
Twitter, Facebook under Bios Natural Health, and I like to post articles and tips about nutrition, or I might post something on there about things that I've seen throughout the week. Sometimes I seem to get clients that come sort of in waves, where all of a sudden everybody has something to do with their thyroid, or everybody has something to do with, you know, a ragweed allergy or something, or even more recently, people that just seem to have a full-blown allergy to sugar. You know, there's quite a few of those. So I tend to, you know, post something about that, or something about hormones or whatever on my
That's great.
Facebook page. Twitter just basically is a few lines to say I've discovered something this week.
Something
Or-
new coming up.
Yeah, or something new coming on. And then the web page, which gives information about what I do. And
I'm very excited because on the following Discover Women coming for the spring, you are writing.
I am writing, yeah, and I write the blog. So I did the blog this week on the bodily response to laughter.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something very interesting. So there's always some little tidbit of information that may be in the blog, and it's exciting to be able to write for Discovering Women. And I also do some sports writing for Peterborough Sports Express too. So that's for the athletes that want to know basically how nutrition can contribute to them. So it's the information is out there.
And I will make sure I will share the links on your Twitter and everything, so then you'll be popping up here.
I'll be talking
It will be popping so that you can visit her website and Facebook. And it was amazing just to have you here and try that. And I'm glad I'm not sensitive to gluten.
about-